go. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. We're doing now. This is Rasslin Rage. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.
And now it's time for Rasslin Rage with your host, Cody Fleming.
Hey, everybody, what is crack-a-lackin'? I am the host with the most of the Rasslin Rage and MI-Dub here in the good state of Michigan, where we cover all the good stuff of independent wrestling. I am joined by Josh, the play-by-play commentator for XICW. I'm going to ask him a few questions in a moment. Before I do that, please, if you are on my personal Facebook or you're on Twitch, please head on over to the Rasslin Rage YouTube channel, r2youtube.com, the letter R, the number 2, youtube.com, so that you can chat with us and ask Josh questions here in a little bit. Because I can't see your questions on Facebook or Twitch because I just can't monitor all this stuff. It's just too much for me. But regardless of that, make sure you do that. Also, if you're on YouTube, right down, over there it is. Down there, there's a red button. If it's red, click it. It's called subscribe, right? Click it, make it gray. If it's gray, you're subscribed. If it's red, you're not. So please, make it gray. Right next to that is a bell. That's the notifications bell. You click that bell, it'll notify you when all the great content, including interviews, matches, Rasslin Rage Live, MI-Dub, which is live now every Tuesday at 6:15 p.m. You can catch all that stuff, and it'll send you an alert on your phone and let you know, hey, Rasslin Rage is about to go live in 30 minutes. And then you know to come watch, right? Also, down in the description, there are links to Mr. Josh's social media, as well as XICW, the longest running independent promotion in the state of Michigan, with 19 years going on 20. That is a long time for an independent promotion. There's not many around that have been running that long. XI is one of the ones, okay? And down there also, there's a link to Podbean where you'll find all the audio content from Rasslin Rage, and including this interview with Josh. So, Josh.
Hello.
First of all, the real question is, how in the hell do you say your last name?
Funny thing to say about my last name, it's Gjonaj. So put it two and two together. So Joe and then Nye. Gjonaj. All together. Yeah.
See, I would have never thought that. Looking at it, I would have sounded out, and it would have been not that. I'm glad I asked you rather than try to say it and just totally mutilate it.
Yeah, no, you're.
Oh, yeah, because it would have been like a death match, right? Because it would have been bloody and nasty, especially if I would have said it, But that's awesome. First of all, before we talk about, you transitioning into XICW play-by-play, how exactly did you get involved with professional wrestling?
So let's put it this way. It's been officially 1 year since I got involved in pro wrestling.
Okay.
I started off with Heel Fan News.
Okay, yep. Remember those guys? That's how we met.
Yes. I used to do interviews called Josh's Corner.
Yep,
and
I remember that.
My very first interview was Malcolm Milrow III and Blake 182 when they were going as Black Sheep at BCWA.
Interesting.
And just going from there, sitting there, it was like so starstruck for me because just going in studio and then they're like, hey, you're hired. And I'm just sitting there with the microphone and I'm like, yeah, I chew gum, which was not a good idea if you're
right, yeah. Well, hey, you got to make those. I don't know, happy accidents, as Bob Ross likes to say. I don't like to call them mistakes. I like to call them happy accidents. You got to make those so that you learn from them, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. All right. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good. And there's just those. It was forever my favorite thing to do, and then I got to interview the Soul Taker. Soul Taker is scary enough, and just being behind him. breathing down my neck, and I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna go in a body bag. Oh god. And it just started from there. Like, I'm forever like happy to be a part of it.
Right.
And now just transitioning into color comments, like commentary, like play-by-play or color. But it's always been a dream of mine since I was very, very young. And like, it's crazy like how much I told people who I knew before wrestling, like, I'm going to do this one day. And they're like, how? And I'm like, don't know, but
well, I'm going to figure it out.
yeah.
Well, that's what differentiates a lot of people, if you ask me.
Mhm.
We had this little bit of a conversation a little bit, and I said there's two types of people. And I don't mean this from because this, when you say this could be controversial, and the next thing you know, I'm viral, right? But I don't.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying this for. But you got two types of people. You got the ones that get to the edge and they stand there and look, and the ones that jump, right? And I don't mean that from a life standpoint, as in like taking your life. I mean that for as like obstacles in your life or big things that may happen. And a lot of people are scared to change and do things that they normally wouldn't do or jump, and that's why I say either you're going to jump or you're going to just stand there and watch everybody do it around you. And I commend you. And I said this before, I commend you because not a lot of people will take that jump, that leap of faith to do what something like that and have people, because we all have those friends, because we're wrestling fans. We know we got those, oh, it's fake. And, oh, that's BS. Or why do you want to do that? We all have those friends. I know you probably got them too. And now you get to go,
yeah, basically that's what I talked about, like with my girlfriend. Like, we were just driving, and like that's the thing about pro wrestling. You, like, a lot of people is like, oh, you watch that, and like, oh, you want to do that, like you were just saying, and like so much, like for me, like I remember just buying the video games, turning down the volume, doing my own commentary, and I'm like, man, this is something I want to do because I've like fell in love with pro wrestling as a whole back in 2002, and like just hearing good old JR, who I met 2 years ago, and like I asked him for advice, and he was like, well, meet the promoter, help out as much as you can, and then go from there. And I'm like, I'm going to stick that with me no matter what.
Absolutely. And that does truly separate a lot of people from other ones, because story time, tell you a story real quick. We got before we were ever doing anything with BCWA as far as setting up a table and doing anything as far as videoing anything, Blackwell invited us in. Mike Blackwell invited Rasslin Rage and MIW in for a press conference for one of their big events that they were doing. And we got to come in and ask questions to Truth Martini and all the people that were participating. There was an award ceremony and there was food and all that good stuff. But anyways, we got there really early. So we helped set the whole thing up. And I think that was part of the reason why we were asked to come in and do what we do now at BCWA, is because instead of standing there and watching everybody, we helped. And I think Blackwell took notice of that and said, these are some good dudes. And here we are, So I highly agree with you on that. Now, is that how you got involved with XICW? You just come in and start helping out?
It's just crazy how like I got started, like just being there and like sitting there, like watching the show, because like, of course we're all fans at one point. And I remember just like attending the shows like with Heel Fan News, and like just hearing Johnny Delicious, he like reached out to me and he was like, would you like to do some commentary for us?
Yeah.
And I was like, is this legit? Like is this happening right now? Like, yeah, like come out and like do some commentary. And I remember just like dressing for the part, and that's what I like, because like just dressing to impress. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
But just like dress like how you want to dress for your job, and like that's why I go with the signature bow tie look. I can't do it during this heat, but
bow ties are cool.
Yeah, and it's something different. And like, just
are you a Doctor Who fan?
I am somewhat a Doctor Who fan.
Well, that's why I said bow ties are cool. All right.
Yeah.
So 11. All right. Matt Smith.
And yeah, of course. And it's just like, it's so cool just to hear, like, because like not a lot of people knew about this, but like back when I was like in high school, I used to go to the House of Truth wrestling school. I was not attending as a student. I just sat with Truth Martini, Jimmy Jacobs, and I just saw everyone who I respect the hell out of bust their ass to become a pro wrestler. Because hats off to you guys for risking your body, putting everything on the line, and making it like you guys trust that other person safe.
Yeah.
And I just remember sitting there like with Truth Martini, and I'm like, I picked his brain because the reason how Truth Martini, like, I respect him because him and my father went to high school together.
Oh,
And,
really? That's an
yes.
interesting thing.
Yeah, and that's how I became friends with him. And like, but it's just so crazy, just like full circle for me how I just more love wrestling. And like just sitting there at like my first XI show, I remember like Truth was ignoring people with the high fives because everybody who at XI likes to have fun. And he was like, nope, not going to give you a high five. And he saw me, boom. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the only one who got the high five.
I'm the guy. I'm the one.
Yeah. And it's so crazy just like now sitting like on the announce table with the 24 karat Jeremiah Goldmain, and I got Kaden Monroe. Both guys are awesome. They bring something to the table, and I love it. And like, I throw in my 2 cents. And of course, as the last show, if you heard the commentary, Jeremiah said I'm in 3rd place because he has to be number 1 because it's gold.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Goldmain, all right, this guy, all right, I have no issues with this gentleman. Apparently, him and Danny, one of my co-hosts from Rage and MIW, those two have been having a lot of words there for some reason. I say I'm a big fan of him because he is a talker. I love somebody that can, talk and just mesmerize you with the words. Like he's spitting stuff out, and you're just like,
pretty much,
holy crap! But how he's just like right now, man. There's no thinking about it. It's all right now. What's it like working with him as far as commentary goes, and then transitioning into other things?
Sitting next to him, like just to hear his one-liners, it's so perfect because it just gets so much like something new into the commentary. And like, of course, like he's quick and easy, like with his replies, and he has something to say. And even though him and Eli Shelton made fun of my dad outfit for commentary, and I was telling them specifically it was Father's Day and I wanted to look like a father, and they're like, you're not a father. And they said I don't know how to place bets, and saying that I have $1 because dollars don't count in bets. They wanted to do $100. I'm not into big money bets. Like $1 is good for me enough, but I can't risk $100 and lose a bet.
Hey, speaking of Eli Shelton, did you see his shoes at the last XI show?
I couldn't because he was trying to blind me, and I said my eyes are blind. Like
with his pants? With his pants?
Yes.
Well, he's got those limited edition Nike Barry Sanders shoes, and if he doesn't watch it, he's gonna get lynched. And I'm gonna take those shoes. I like Eli, but I like his shoes better.
It's hard to sit with him on commentary if he's going to make fun of my outfit.
Well, I understand that. No, speaking of XICW, they had their super duper secret show, the Father's Day barbecue. It was on Father's Day. Boy, did I almost get in trouble with my wife that day, but I pre-approved it and everything was all right. Now me and the boys were there. We had a good time. Some great matches that night, one of which, this is my personal opinion, I'm not sure what yours is. We haven't talked about this previously or any time prior to this interview, but my match of the night, and I've said it on Facebook, I said it on the show, I've said it on multiple shows, was the 3-way dance between Dre Jacobs, Maynard, and Justin Dream. In my opinion, that was the match of the night because that was the match before the intermission, and the crowd was kind of quiet. They were still kind of getting into the mix of things. And once that match started and they got going, they got crazy. They got nuts. And I mean, Dre Jacobs was chewing on barbed wire again. Seems to be a thing with him. But there's that. But it made it, the crowd was into it. And from that moment on, it was hot. The night was hot. And I'm not talking about the heat as in the heat index. I'm talking about the crowd and the way that it was going. The crowd came in hot after that, and it was go time after that. I don't think anybody wanted to go home. There was one guy behind me, and he was like, man, I ain't never been to nothing like this, because he was friend to the homeowner or something. He's like, I ain't never been to something like this. Oh, my God, this was awesome. They're going off the shed porch. They're doing, oh, my God. He was just having a blast, dude. I loved it. Loved it. What was your favorite match of the night?
So I had 2 matches of the night. I loved that 3-way dance because it was perfect. And no matter like what we talked about, Dre Jacobs, like he overcomes the odds. He has Johnny Delicious with him, and he has that championship around him. And nothing is going to budge him. No matter what obstacles he's going to go through, like more challengers are going to come. And even for that, after that match, he called out Tommy Vendetta.
I'm glad you said that, because I was just going to talk about that.
Yeah, and I remember you asked me about who would I choose, and like it was hard to pick because Tommy, yes, he done a lot of stuff, and especially people like to know this. In case anyone didn't know, he came from Aaron Orion's ball sack. So in case if anyone didn't know that, there you go. But Tommy Vendetta is a hell of a competitor, and he's incredible, and like he's a risk taker. And speaking of him, that main event between the Moreau Dynasty, first time in a long time, we saw MM3 and the DBA teaming up, father and son teaming up to take on Jamal King and Tommy Vendetta. And like it was great to see everybody, in action, and just seeing Tommy. Oh God, when DBA just threw him off, I was scared for my life. My heart just literally sank to see Tommy fall off.
Well, he went off another roof just this weekend, I guess.
I saw that. I'm like, man, Tommy is not going to get a break, but hey, kudos to him, because for me, my legs would be shaking, and I'm like, yeah, no.
Right. Well, his name's in a lot of people's mouths right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people want a piece of Tommy V. He was the Horror Slam heavyweight champion for about a minute. Mm-hmm. And then I guess Jason Page now is the Horror Slam champion. But speaking of this Tommy V Dre Jacobs match that's been going on, I've had Dre on, I've had Tommy Vendetta, and I've had Johnny Delicious on, and all of them had made mention of Tommy V. I think I specifically asked them about that match, and you too. Do you think that XI is going to book that match?
I strongly believe it. Yeah. The fans love to see it. I would love to see it. Just both men, the War Boy, Tommy Vendetta, going to war. Right. And you see Dre, he's not afraid of anything.
Oh, no.
And he has Johnny Delicious behind his side. And let's put it this way. Tommy Vendetta, he wants that championship. Who knows? He might want that championship. Maybe he wants more championships. Who knows? But I would love to see that match. Because
absolutely.
Dre, he issued the challenge. And, man, it was just crazy because everybody's like, oh, are we going to see it? Are we going to see it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, anybody that chews on barbed wire and, like, gets excited about it ain't right, dude.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't right.
No.
I love the guy, but he ain't right.
I'm terrified to do interviews with Dre Jacobs. he like, when I did an interview with him, he like, oh, it was not a good place at the wrong time for me. I was scared. I was like going to drop the microphone and just hightail out.
I remember when one of the interviews that I did with him, and we were talking about when he debuted the War Boy character, and the music hits, and you get that, it's like the mosh pit wants to start flaring up. You know what I mean? And I feel that, dude, when he comes out. you feel it, dude. You feel it. He's just like, the rage builds up and you're just like, let's kill people. Yeah. Right. And I mean that in wrestling terms, not in real life terms, but in Dre Jacobs, man. And one of the interviews I did with him and TJ Meyer, and he was talking about Dre Jacobs, the guy you're talking to, like when we just sit here and we talk, is a different person than the Dre Jacobs you see in the War Boy Dre Jacobs that you see in the ring. Would you agree with that?
I agree to that, because once that bell rings, it's go time for Dre.
Yeah.
Even when he comes out, it's go time. He's nothing but focus. Like he has that championship. One, he has that championship around his waist. Two,
longest reigning, by the way.
Longest reigning indeed. And two, he needs that W for the Kira clan, because the Kira clan, they basically have all the gold.
They do have all the gold for sure, except they have one half of the Proving Ground Tag Team Champions, the Team Noah Championships.
Yep.
Now, XI has another show coming up really, really soon here, this weekend, matter of fact.
Yes.
And this one, we know the last time we didn't know any of the matches coming into it. We had no idea. They've announced matches, right? And one of those matches is we have my personal homeboy, the Dread King Logan, is going to be facing off against MM3 for the championship, dude. That's the Midwest Championship, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so they're going to be facing off for this. Now, the Dread King, he's my boy. He's my dude. He's my homeboy, right? Personal homeboy. Like, he'll take people out if I need him to. But let's have a little conversation here. MM3's been holding this title for quite some time now. I don't have the numbers. I don't have the statistics to tell you how long he's had that title. But as long as I've been going to XICW, he's had that title, right? So do you believe that the Dread King Logan has what it takes to beat MM3 for that title?
So let me put it this way.
Uh-oh.
I respect the hell out of the Dread King. I respect the hell out of the process. But let's put it this way. Looking at the statistics, the Dread King Logan needs to ease down about things lately. Because the last time before this quarantine happened, the Dread King was not chosen in the House of Truth. And, of course, Truth Martini chose Kongo. And then at the end of the night, he got Bronner. I need the Dread King Logan to hear me out. And I hope he doesn't take this the wrong way. But he needs to not have that motion inside of him. I miss the old Dread King Logan where he forced me to bow down to him. What happened to that Dread King Logan? And the thing is, with the process, MM3, he overcame so many challengers. He defeated Eddie Kingston. He defeated Isaiah Bronner. He defeated Jamal King, just to name a few. Yeah. And the process, and there's a saying going, trust the process, and you gotta trust the process. The Dread King Logan, he just needs to focus on one thing and one thing only, is to win. And the thing is, not to take it this, not to sound mean or anything, but I strongly believe MM3 is going to walk out and retain that championship if the Dread King Logan does not focus hard enough.
You really think so, huh?
I strongly believe so.
You strongly believe so. You hear these words, strong. You sound like a commentator now. I strongly believe so. Man, next thing you know, you're going to be on ESPN or something. I know it. It's going to happen. You're going to be calling something really cool soon. I don't know what it's going to be, but it'll be really cool. And maybe AEW. Yeah, you never know, right? WWF, we'll get it there. Now, I've had these guys on the show, and I know you're familiar with them as well. Okay. The Grey Wolves. Matter of fact, shout out to Grey Wolves. I got your T-shirt on. You can contact the Grey Wolves for a T-shirt. I believe they're $20, maybe 25. I don't know, but they're double-sided. They got the big Grey Wolves on the back. They got the little Grey Wolf on the front. Anyways, the Grey Wolves started out, just came into XICW, says, hey, we want to help. What can we do? They have a ring crew, their security. They've been setting up rings since season 1 of XICW Proving Ground for XI. At some point, they sought out. They were told to go seek training from PPW, or what do they call it? The Pure Pro Wrestling Performance Center or something like that. They went out, they got trained. Here they are. I've watched them about 3 or 4 times. I've watched their matches now. I am really, really impressed with these guys. I really am. I don't even know how to explain it right now because it's so new to the game, but these 2 guys together put on a hell of a show in that ring, and they keep you captivated. But they're going to be facing off against 2. Well, I don't know if you know this, but they were tag team champions in Blue Water Championship Wrestling. Mm-hmm. But they're not tag champs anymore. And Maynard's recently returned to wrestling because he took some time off. But Billy Ray Daniels and Jay Maynard are going to team up again together and face off against the Grey Wolves. Mm-hmm. What are you looking for in this match as a commentator, and when you're saying things to the people? What are you going to be looking for in this match specifically? Because both of these gentlemen, Jay Maynard and Billy Ray Daniels, are both Proving Ground champions. Jay Maynard is season 1 or season 2, I can't remember. And then season 5 would be Billy Ray Daniels.
The thing about the Grey Wolves, I love because it gets a new flavor. It's a new flavor for wrestling, and for people, more tag team in the tag team division. And right. I love the Grey Wolves because at the last show we saw them taking on Super Oprah and Willie Watts. Those 2 were communicating good. They cut the ring in half, which is smart ring strategy. But you got BRD and Jay Maynard. Those guys, they went to war together, and then they faced each other at XI shows. And don't get me wrong, it's just going to be awesome to see more action. And I'm looking forward to see Grey Wolves, developing that ring strategy. I love the communication they got. I love the cut and ring you have, which is smart because you want to focus on one guy and make sure you take care of the other guy once you got that ring cut in half.
Absolutely.
Which is fantastic.
Absolutely. Now, one of the last matches we'll talk about that night, but Kongo Kong is making a return to XICW. If you don't know who Kongo Kong is, I suggest you go look him up because he's one bad motherfucker. All right. But I'm going to tell you this. They don't call him Kongo Kong for nothing because that dude is big, right? And he's mean looking, but he's really not that mean. However, you have Mongo. Mongo is going to take on Kongo Kong. Kongo Kong's going to defend his XICW United States Championship. So there's a possibility that we may see a new United States champion.
Well, the thing is about Mongo, it's a different attitude he has.
Yeah.
When we saw the last episode, he take on Sam Beal, and it was a different Mongo. And I could tell from the eyes, even though the blood was dripping from his nose, that was a different Mongo. Right. Mongo is focused on winning, which is perfect. And now he's taking on a huge challenge for not only Kongo Kong, but for a United States Championship opportunity.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, Mongo, this could be a new winning strategy for him. He could have a new winning streak. But Kongo, he's better experienced. He's been in the business for so long. And we see him on all wrestling shows. Mm-hmm. He wrestled for Impact Wrestling, which is so bizarre to see. People see Kongo Kong and they're like, holy crap, look at the size of that man. Yeah, and believe me, when he defeated Michael Elgin for that United States Championship at XICW show, it was a big win for Kongo. And man, it's a big obstacle to go through. But right. I am very interested to see those 2 go to war.
Right. And the last one, El Ridiculoso returns to XICW to take on Sweet Willie Watts. And, El Ridiculoso says Willie Watts doesn't follow the rules. and he wants some retribution. So, what do you think? Do you think El Ridiculoso brings the party and parties all over Willie Watts? What do you think?
The thing, when I saw El Ridiculoso, like, sitting there on commentary, and, like, I noticed something was different about El. I was wondering, like, what's going through your mind? And, like, after, like, the fun-loving criminals in RC3, they defeated the Watts and El Ridiculoso, and, we're all happy to see that. And then El took the shot of the groin of Willie Watts and attacked Dickie Watts. And the thing is, like, we still don't have an answer. Like, we want to know why. And, like, El, I mean, he brings the party a lot. And I love El Ridiculoso. And just seeing him, he might say he didn't turn his back, but it feels like we were all betrayed,
I really feel like he's turning over a new leaf. He's not the same El Ridiculoso we once knew, but I believe that's because his hand has been forced. And, I think he's a little scorned. He believes opportunities kind of passed him over, and now he's going to do what it takes. And I can't fault him for that. I really can't, because you got to do what you got to do. So in that sense, I do believe El Ridiculoso is most likely going to come out on top on this one.
It's going to be a war indeed, because like, it's hard to just, like, because for Willie Watts, he has to have somewhat anger and betrayed in the back of his head.
Right.
And it just like, of course, before quarantine took over, we saw Willie Watts. It was not the Willie Watts we were used to. That Willie Watts was a different Willie Watts, and I hope Willie brings that Willie Watts to this show coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that anger, the pissed off, betrayed Willie Watts, that's the Willie Watts I would love to see taking on El Ridiculoso.
Yeah, it's always a good time at XI. I love XI. Now, as I've said many times to people, I'm fairly still kind of new to the independent game here in the state of Michigan, because I wasn't sheltered, but I was not informed. How's that sound? I didn't really know that there was this big of an independent scene here in the state of Michigan. I knew of one independent. I went to that independent, and as I got more involved with that independent, I learned more and more and more and more. And I'm like, man, I love the independent wrestling, and hence why Rasslin Rage and MI Dub started, because I felt like this is so much better than some of the things that we're seeing on TV, that I need to help people find this so that they can experience all that there is in independent wrestling here in the state of Michigan specifically. XICW being one of those things. I absolutely love XICW, and I can't say it enough. I always recommend XICW to anybody that is a wrestling fan and wants a little bit of something a little bit different. That's where you want to go, right there. I love XICW. I love XICW. I just absolutely do. And it's just the best. It is the best promotion in the state. I don't give what anybody says. It is the best promotion in the state of Michigan. Hands down. No calls about it. You can come send me hate mail now. I don't care. I'll forward you to DBA. Anyways, and I'll let him do the stabbing. But as far as we know we got that show coming up this weekend, right? And we know that you're doing the play-by-play. And we know that XI is not the only show that you've done play-by-play for.
Yep.
What are your goals coming out of this COVID? Because, we've all been laid up for a long period of time, and we're just now starting to get back to the mix of things, and shows are starting to come back. We're starting to get wrestling every weekend again, not quite like we were before, but it's starting. It's getting there. What are you looking to do when things get back going? Number one, what are you looking to do? One, and what are your goals going forward?
That's a really good question. Let's see. The thing is, like, with my goal, I tell people this. It's to continue still doing commentary for XI, because, of course, we have great action back, but I want to expand myself when quarantine's over. I want to commentate more and more shows because, like I said, this is something I always dreamed of, and it's so like, you know, for anybody who wants to become in the wrestling business, who wants to start up a YouTube channel for wrestling, do it, because don't let anybody like, you know, hold you down. And it was the more I'm like thinking about like just talking about wrestling with people, like this is something I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
And it's just like I want more people to be like, that's that Josh guy who does commentary. Like that's awesome. And like just during that XI show, like the last like house party show, I got to sign my first autograph, which was mind-boggling.
That's cool, dude.
And I'm like, this is something I want people to know. Like, that's that Josh guy. That's the guy who sits down and commentates. Because I want people to see, like, if they want to do commentary, they could see, like, hey, that guy did it.
Yeah.
I should ask him how to get into this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
That's the big goal for me, is just to expand more.
Absolutely. That's a good goal to have, right? It's,
Yeah.
You know, you always shoot for the moon. You know, shoot for the moon and land in the stars. That's the way I see it, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. This is the first time I've had you on for an interview, and I'm sure that if we actually got together and just sat around and talked a little bit about we could have some great conversations about wrestling. But this interview is about you and about the things that you do, and having a conversation about the commentary that you're going to be doing this weekend.
Yep.
You know, again, I want to remind everybody that all the links to Josh's social media, I believe Instagram and Twitter, are down in the description with the links. So you just click that link, you head there, follow, like, all that good stuff, and you can keep up to date on where he's going to be or what shows he'll be doing play-by-play for. But you can always catch him always at XICW going forward. Now, lastly, I have one last question. We're going to close it out with this question. We have yet to complete the season of Proving Ground. We're on season 7.
Yes, sir.
We have 3 teams left. We have the Suplex Shogun and Sean Tyler, the Art of War. We have the Wastelands, TJ Meyer and Dre Jacobs. And I'm not sure what Weaponized Master Moonsault Weir is calling himself nowadays, but him and Adam Wick. Out of those 3 teams, who do you have picked to win it?
Ooh, that is very tough.
I know who I got picked.
It's very tough because, like, seeing 3 teams. Also, back to the Kira clan, Johnny Delicious. He has a 50-50 opportunity to have one of his men winning this Proving Ground.
Right.
And just like the faceless Sean Tyler and Shogun, it's a cue ball for him, for both of those teams. And it was such a hard, like, it was terrifying to realize, like, who's going to go home, who's going to stay. And when I saw Sean Tyler and Shogun, they made it. It's impressive. And now you got to look at Adam Wick, and you got to look at Alex Weir, and then you got to worry about Dre Jacobs and TJ Meyer. I have to go with TJ Meyer and Dre Jacobs because as much as during the season started, we saw TJ Meyer getting that learning tree, picking on the tree of Dre Jacobs, finding winning ways. It was impressive to see how those 2 team up, and they took on Alex Weir and Adam Wick. And just seeing how much the dedication TJ Meyer is willing to pull that opportunity along with Dre Jacobs. Those 2 are by far like my favorite to pick. But if I had to choose a second, I have to. Sorry, Wick and Weir, I'm sorry, but I got to go with Team Shogun and Sean Tyler because those two, Shogun and Sean Tyler, Shogun did not respect Sean Tyler, but Sean Tyler earned Shogun's respect, which was impressive.
Right. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a great answer, dude. I like that answer. I've said it 100 times, and I'm not going to go back over it, but I have the same team pick to win it. You know, originally though, at the beginning of the season, I had Hyena Hagen, and this was before we knew who he picked as his vet. Unfortunately, he was eliminated because his vet was unable to make it, and that's the rules. That's the rules, and it doesn't matter whose son you are. That's the rules. But now I'm going with TJ Meyer and Dre Jacobs, and I think you're a smart man for picking them too, because I don't see anybody else that's working the way that they do together. It's a cohesive team. It's like they know what's up, man. They know it. They just got to look at each other, and it's like, it's happening now. Let's do this. I love it. And their movesets go very well together. Very well together. So, yes, awesome pick. Again, guys, don't forget to smash that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down there. There it is down there. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that bell. Make sure you go down in the description. There's tons of links down there to follow Rasslin Rage on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also follow MIDub on Facebook. We also have a group on Facebook. All them links are down there. You can find the link to Podbean down there where you'll find all our audio content. You will also find a link to get 30 days free of unlimited hosting on Podbean. That's why we chose Podbean, is because unlimited hosting. It was about the same price that we were paying for our last host, and we weren't getting nearly as much hosting as we are with Podbean. So I highly, highly recommend you go to Podbean, especially if you already have a podcast and you're spending out the butt to get some hosting. Trust me, it's not cheap. Not cheap at all. But Josh, I look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. And maybe one of these days you get a podcast going and I'll come on your stuff, and we'll have to do this again real soon, dude, for real.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and make sure that you follow Josh on his social media. We'll catch you guys later. Oh yeah, I got to hit the outro, right? Because that's a good thing. Bye.
Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. Who's going down? This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage.